All right, welcome to Stock Analysis Friday on this July 19th, 2024. Great to have everybody here. All right, so Stock Analysis Friday is all about looking up stocks you want me to look up for you. So go ahead and type those in the comments area. And if you wouldn't mind typing those in caps, that helps me see them really better. And we'll jump on that after a few administrational items. So let me go ahead and go through those now. And first thing, of course, is to talk about the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really do go hand in hand, but you need to be aware of the risks, and it's important to adjust your trading approach to account for that. And that's called good risk control or money management. And I've written several books on that topic, and I'll share those with you in just a moment. But also, too, you want to fund your account with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. That's really super important. Never trade with money you can't afford to risk. There's a lot of good alternatives out there. I'm going to share that with you in just a moment as well. So if you don't have much money, or you're just trying to start out learning all about it, there are some options for you, okay, where you can learn and get proficient and start building your accounts. So I will get to that. Also, to run everything by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure anything we talk about today is suitable for you. So if I make a recommendation on a stock that I'm sharing here, please run that by your financial advisor, because there's no guarantees. Okay, everything in the market is probabilities, and we want to make sure you're not taking on too much risk or getting involved in something that is just not suitable for you, perhaps because of your age or net worth or whatever. So definitely do that. In terms of books that can help you with risk control and money management, I've got two up there. I think you can see them. Also got a book on technical analysis, many of them, Elliott Wave. My new book coming out this year, being published by Wiley, second edition, called The Art of Trading. And that's basically a mind dump from me to you. And it's going to be a pretty good sized book, around 500, maybe a little over 500 pages. It's going to cover everything to date, including some of the new software that we've come out with since the first edition came out back in 2008. All right, in terms of software, we have charting software called the ART, AL, PTF, TLM, and ERI that work in conjunction together. We have scanners, and we have risk control software as well. Our software can be used for trend trading markets on any time frame, and also for scalping markets on some of the intraday time frames. And that's going to lead me to those of you that like to actually day trade, but you may be a little bit nervous about it, of course, and I get that. But the idea is that there are options for you. You don't have to. You can, of course, do simulated trading until you have your edge. But there are prop firms out there. I don't know if you've heard of those, but prop firms are basically firms that you pay a subscription fee to. They give you what they call an evaluation account. And then if you trade that successfully based on their parameters, then they fund you. And then from there, you're basically trading an account, which is not your own money, but their money, so to speak. All right. And they will pay you out on your profits. And Apex is one of the oldest firms. We do have a relationship with Apex, and that I'm going to give you here a link in the chat area where you can actually go ahead and open up an account, but at a good discount. So use our discount code for that, and that will help you lower your subscription fees. And that will, of course, always a good thing, right? All right, so keep that in mind for those of you that are interested in day trading. It's for futures only. You can go to their website. Once you click on our link, it'll take you to their website. You can read more about it. But, you know, I'll give you an example here. Let me just go back here. I'll give you an example here real quick of some of the results that we've had trading. This was last week on the Apex prop firms. And we're going to have, the reason I'm showing you this is not to brag, but I'm showing you this simply because we're going to be having a tutorial here in Tucson, Arizona later this year. And that tutorial is going to encompass how to do this. We're going to talk about trading the ART system, which is our software tools. And we're also going to be talking about trading prop accounts and how to get valuation counts funded, things like that. So we'll keep you, get on our mailing list and you'll learn more about that. All right. And then finally, give us a like here. And you're already subscribed, but we appreciate that. All right. So let me come out of here and give me 1 second here to come out. And then let me go to our accounts here at NinjaTrader. I think I've got them all there. And I'll put that up there. Okay. So I'm going to start out. I see some of the folks coming in here now. Welcome, everybody. So I'm going to start out, and hopefully you can hear me okay. If you can, of course, let me know. I think everything looks pretty good there. Okay, so I'm going to start out with Bitcoin for a little bit. Now, Bitcoin came down. This is, oh, by the way, this is a daily chart here, 60-minute chart here, and a weekly chart here, okay? So this is your short term. This is your intermediate term. This is your long term. These are scanners up here. We're not going to be using those today because you're going to be giving us the information in terms of what to look up. We've got the OWL here, which measures momentum, counts Elliott waves, PTF down here, which tells us when certain trends or markets have more highs possible or lows. Trendline master telling us what the current trend is, and the emotional reader index for fear and greed down in this area here. So we load our software in all 3 time frames. So we're going to be together for about a half an hour today. So when you're ready, go ahead and type in your stocks, and we'll take a look at those stocks and ETFs. All right, so on Bitcoin, the $1 million question here is the correction over? So we had a situation here, if we look at the center chart, where we had a wave 3, and then we had a wave 4 target zone. And when I talk in terms of numbers, this is the Elliott wave. So there are 5 waves in a trend. So basically wave 3 goes in the direction of the primary trend, and it's the strongest wave. And you can certainly see that here. And then you get into a little bit of confusion and profit taking, and usually it settles down into the wave 4 target zone. And then after that, more enthusiasm comes back for the final move to the upside, which is wave 5. And that usually goes to a fib extension target right around this area here. So that's what we are anticipating for Bitcoin at some point. But we want to make sure the correction, the wave 4, is over. And it's certainly looking like it might be. But here's the key for this. I'm going to just spread this chart out. I'm going to open this chart a little bit so you can see it better, and then spread it out. So what we look for here is we've had a nice bounce off the bottom. We just touched the target zone. All right. We no longer have a red PTF, so that's a good sign. But now we want to see what kind of pullback we get after this immediate run up that we've had this month, because the pullback will tell us everything. If it pulls back, and it will eventually, if it pulls back and this bottom holds and we get another surge up, then that's a really bullish sign that we're on our way to the wave 5 target zone. So we kind of want to see what happens with this, because technically speaking, we don't really have a solid uptrend yet off the bottom, because you don't have higher highs and higher lows of any significance. All right. Yeah, we've had a couple price bars here and there, but nothing significant. So usually we get a significant pullback after that big move up. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for. And that usually, retraces about a fib retracement or more. But the key is, if this bottom holds and we get a turnaround and go back up, this would be an excellent buy opportunity if you're not already in it, or if you want to add to it. So keep that in mind as a possibility that could be coming up on the horizon. If you're holding this long term, then you're not going to worry about this, because the long-term chart on the far right here is indicating higher highs, higher probability of higher highs based on the indicators that we use. So that is kind of something, we're bullish on Bitcoin, but we do want to make sure this correction is over, that it has been in. So I think that's kind of important. All right. Stuart, how are you? We'll take a look at, okay, so Stuart is in SFIX. He owns this one. All right. He owns both these ones he wants me to look up. And so when we take a look at this one, I guess what you're asking is, should you continue to stay in it? The answer so far is yes. We are going to get a pullback, which you're seeing right now unfold. We've been getting it for the last, 3 days. It's not done yet. Let me draw some fibs in here to get an idea of where we think this may pull back to. And yeah, I think that's a good spot to anchor that fib retracement on. So Stuart, not a very expensive stock, probably coming back to $3.96, right around the $4 mark, down to about 3.25, actually 3.28. So you can expect that before we get a bounce. So you probably want to have that stop at least at this pyramid, maybe a little bit under. Let's see what the bottom of that pyramid is out of curiosity. All right, so let me see here. We've got a low here of 3.39. So I put it a couple ticks under that, below 3.28. All right, and I think that'll keep you in. So I wouldn't get out. You have a bullish move off the bottom on the other chart on the other side. So I think you just got to stick with it. But I do think it's going to pull back. Now, if you don't want to go through that pullback, because I don't know where you got in, then you probably should exit. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at PAGS. All right. Similar situation here in a pullback. It's a little further along in terms of its relationship to the fibs that I'll draw in here. So we've got a situation here where you're kind of already in the target for the most part. And so therefore, since you suffered this long with it, it could go back into the target. I'm not saying it's done yet, but I do see on the shorter time frame an ABC. We have green here. So I would anticipate a possible bottom here. So I'd stick with it. If you get one more low, I wouldn't panic as long as it doesn't go below 12.24. Okay. So that is there. So I would hold that one if I was you. Okay. All right, Frank, let's see what you got here. All right, DIA, the diamonds. All right, I don't know if you own these or what you're thinking about on these, but obviously, all right, I see on the short-term chart a pullback. So we're getting a kind of a pullback, I think, generally in most of the markets. Let's draw a fib retracement here to see what's cooking on that. So target on this pullback is around 402 to 395, and then we should see another surge forward. And I say that simply because our indicators are showing green, more highs coming. So after this pullback, I think we'll probably get that. So if you're looking to buy, I would hold off here a little bit. Let this thing get a little bit the correction done, and then at that particular point, possibly a long position. All right, QQQ. Similar situation. Notice the green PTF, which is our indicator here. And basically, let me just explain why I kind of rely on this PTF indicator. First of all, it has about a 75% accuracy rate. And the idea is when it's green, there is a 70% probability, 75% probability, the highest price bar in that green area will be taken out again. Now, it doesn't tell you how long it's going to take before it comes back. It doesn't tell you how deep a correction could be before it comes back. But any correction you usually see when that thing is green is just a profit-taking correction. It's not a change in trend. And that's a big distinction. So that's kind of what we're in now here. Let's see if we're kind of getting close to being over here. Pretty big run up, as you can see. So let's take a look and see based on this. So maybe a little further down, 471 to 452. We'll see how that goes. If this is a shorter term correction, we're kind of there now. The dicey thing about this, if this owl goes red, then the deeper correction will occur. If it stays green, then that's all you'll probably get close to a bottom here. So I would have to wait and see a turnaround, a pullback, and then another surge forward to ensure an uptrend's in place. Okay. So no go on that one yet. And let's take a look at the spider. All right, pulling back as well after a beautiful run up. So yeah, all these are kind of in that same motion. Again, exactly like our other one, in that you're sitting here with a short-term pullback. So if this stays green and we get a push off this level, that could be bullish. However, if it goes for a deeper retracement, profit-taking retracement, then that would turn this red on the center chart, and then your retracement area is down there. So none of those are a buy right now, okay? All right, Stuart. Stuart is back, LNG. He owns that one. All right, let's see where we're cooking here. So, all right, so my eyes immediately go to any green PTF. I see one on the daily. So that's a good sign. A little bit of pullback possibly coming here. We got a little bearish divergence building here, but still bullish here. You may get one more quick high, kind of Russian roulette about that, but eventually you should see a pullback on this. So again, don't know where you got out, don't know what your intentions are in terms of long-term or not, but any pullback that comes at this point should probably be considered a profit-taking pullback only, not a change in trend. And I think, again, that's a fairly big distinction. So here, let's just say if it pulled back, we got a target between 173 and 166, and then it should recover and go higher. All right, so that's kind of where we're at now. Now, it may go ahead and make a really quick high at any time and then do the pullback. But a pullback's coming, all right? So you can decide if you want to stay in that or not. All right, Lulu, let's take a look at that one here. You're watching this one. Okay, so Lulu's pulling down. You're probably watching it for a possible long trade after this thing's bottom, and that's a fine thing to do. I think at this particular point, it's not bottomed yet. So bring this one back next week, and let's take a look at it because it may be getting close, but not quite there yet. All right, CVS is our next one. All right, so this one came down too. And again, we're kind of a little bit better on this one in that we've got kind of a bottoming formation. We've also had two gaps here. It looks like we had a gap here and a gap here on the shorter time frame. So mid-channel gap, exhaustion gap, one low here, all right, and then a move off its bottom. So a couple of things I like here, all right, we've had a move off the bottom, a pullback, and now it looks like we're getting set up for possibly a trend. I would not go in this until we break this high right here. Let me just draw a line on that. And that I think that's important to wait for this to break out of there because we want to make sure we have higher highs before we go into that. All right. So especially when you're breaking off a bottom. So at that particular case, wait for it to break that point there. And you know, that will give you probabilities on your side. So that's a high of what, 62.01, so 62.02. Okay, you want to see that get above 62.02. All right, thank you. All right, Jim, how are you? UNG. Okay, so UNG is the ETF for natural gas. All right, it's bolted to the downside. Now it had a low here, okay, of 1387, and here it is at 1358. All long positions should be exited, okay? You should be out of everything right now long. The bottom here did not hold, and now we have a new possible bottom forming at this point, but with the red PTF on the 60-minute chart, we're still going down. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get a retracement at some point, all right? We're probably getting close to having some form of retracement. So if we took a look at a possible fib retracement, you know, we could go up to $15 or $16 to $17.50. But if this PTF remains red, then it's going down again, okay? So no long position here. And if you were long, you should be out. Okay. So no new trade and no long trade. All right. SH, let's take a look at that. Okay. So SH kind of moving a little bit off its bottom. Red PTF. Ooh, red PTF on the daily and the weekly charts, Jim, on this one. So I can't say go long on it. Okay. We gotta wait until this thing flushes out a little more. All right, thank you. All right. XBI. Let's see if I have data for the XBI. Should. Frank, how are you? Okay, so let's see what we got cooking here. I don't know. Okay, double top, go short. Okay, so you're thinking of a short position, not with the green PTFs. So you have green PTFs across the board. You know, sometimes you can consider a short on the profit-taking wave, but not with a green PTF on the 60-minute. So no shorts on that one, okay? All right, let's see. Alexander, how are you? All right, the VIX. Let's take a look at that one here. Ooh, I don't know if I got that one. Let's do TXN instead. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. All right, you're long on this. Okay, so good to be long. No problem being long. We had a little bit of a pullback, which is what we drew in there. Let's see where the target is on this one. All right, so we're looking around 219 to 237. So you still got some room on it. All right, I would stay long. All right, no reason to get out at this point. You might get a little bit of a pullback. You know, you could pull back to what, 200, 198, or at 201, big deal. Okay, just hold it. All right, you're good there. TXN. Okay. Oops, I did TX. Okay, gotcha. Sorry about that. VIX is the one we couldn't look up before. Okay, so this one is KKR. All right, green PTF on the 60, so more highs, short-term highs coming. I'd say when that turns yellow, get those stops pretty close. Probably due for a pullback at that point. But I would stay with it for now because you got a green PTF. And I know you have the software, so keep an eye on that, okay? I want to take a look at TLT, the bonds here real quick. This is the ETF for the bond market. We still got a persistent red PTF on the weekly chart for bonds. So I'm a little reluctant to go long in a big way on this, though I think it's possible we could oscillate up in this area for a little while. But at this particular point, I don't see a position in the bonds yet, okay? All right, let's keep going here. NXPI. Okay, so you're long on all these. Oh boy, okay, even though we're having a pullback, you do have a green PTF here. I keep my eyes on that and see if it changes to red. If it does, and that's one of the 25% times it's wrong. But if that is correct, we should end pretty soon in here, okay, in terms of a short-term pullback. So let's keep an eye on it. So the move started up here. Let's draw a fib retracement from here to here. Oh boy, you already went below that quite a bit. All right, so I don't know where you got in, but if it goes below this low here, 262.53, that's not a good sign. You may want to get out. I would expect with a green PTF, if this is correct, if this is one of the 75% times it's correct, you should not go below here. All right, this should end pretty soon. But you know, it is an extended trend, so it is due for a pullback. So you do want to get out if this goes below there, okay? All right, let's take a look at SMCI. All right, definitely in a correction. It's off its highs, okay? Looks like we're still in a little bit of a messy correction. I don't think it's over yet. I'm thinking here, this is indicating it's going to go below its low in July here, or last week rather. So that low is 774.07. So we're kind of heading down in that direction. So you are long already. I guess I don't know where you went long, but if you've suffered through this much of a correction, let's see if the suffering is over or not. Okay, hold on one second. Let's see. Should be over pretty soon. I guess I would stick with it, because now that doesn't mean it can't go back down into the 700s, but you're in the target area. So the thing to do would have been gotten out earlier, but at this particular point, I'd stick with it. More highs are coming. It's kind of like Bitcoin. More highs are coming. You just got to make sure the shakeout is done yet. Okay, let's take a look at MARA. MARA. You're also long in these, and I don't see a problem with being long. A little pullback right now. Again, kind of like the others, you can expect profit taking. It doesn't necessarily mean a reason to get out. We hit the target once already. I don't think we're done quite yet. We could be, but I don't think so. Let's see, ABC. Could be, okay? We could be. Here's your ABC. So I would stay with this one, okay? You should reach above and make new highs in terms of above 27 again, and then I think it should keep going for a little bit. So bring this back next week and let's see how it's doing, all right? GJT. Probably when that PTF turns yellow, you should scale out a little bit too. All right. All right. So a lot going on here. So we've got a green PTF here, a pullback in place. So this indicates more highs are coming on this pullback. We've got a red here. So how do you read that when one's green and one's red? Well, when you read left to right, because this is the short term, intermediate, don't forget, and long term. This happens first. This usually happens second. And this is the outcome, third. Okay, that's how you read that. So it looks to me like probably we should go above this area here, unless this changes red. All right, so that's what that means. So we'll go up here. But if this stays red, that means we're going to come slamming back down. So that's how I would read that. All right, so if you're long, and I don't know where you got in, when this turns yellow and gets above here, you may want to exit, okay? That's how I would play that if this stays red. If this one changes to green, then I'd probably change a little bit. All right. Oh, Alexander's back. CAVA. Okay, so you're watching this one. All right, so nice long position if you got into it in the beginning of the year. A little late now, and now it's going into a correction. And I think the correction is going to be, this is, nice wave up. So pretty easy to figure out that that's a 3 and we're in a 4. So I would look at this again when we get down in below 73, okay? I wouldn't consider even looking at it until we get down there. Okay, so that's the wave 4 retracement area. So 3, 4, and then after this, we should see 5, okay? But since you're not already in it, why get in it now, right? Wait until it corrects. All right, coin. Good old Coinbase. Okay, so you guys at home, basically, if you can see my charts clearly enough, you should be able to see what jumps out at you here. A couple things. One is that the PTF, which is this indicator, second indicator from the top here, right here, that is green on both the short term and the long term. So that's bullish, and that's bullish long term. The situation is we've kind of been in a messy little bit of a pullback area here, where the market's kind of been oscillating back and forth. So again, reading left to right, probably going to take out this high here. And then next thing we got to see is the correction, did the correction hit its fib target zone? Because if it didn't, then that's dangerous to go long. All right, it did. So that's looking pretty good. So I'm thinking, yeah, I would put a buy on this one, okay? And I'm going to put this on our buy list. And then the next thing we want to do is figure out where the target is. So let's see what a short-term target could look like on here. We're looking at probably around 325 to 408, and it's at 245. I put your stop right under this pyramid, and your risk to reward is good there. So that's a buy. I'm going to put that on the buy list. That's coin. All right, let's take a look at Hood. Okay, so Hood coming up. I don't know green PTFs. It's moved nicely off its bottom. A little bit of a pullback now, though. I think what I would do on this one looks to me like we may have a 3, 4, 5 on the 60. So we're due for a major pullback on the daily. So I would not look at this one again until we get down to about $19.33 to $15.89, and we're at 23. Then you should look at that for a buy. Now that doesn't mean you just jump in and buy. You wait for the market to show positive momentum again and put in the definition of an uptrend, which is higher high. So kind of you want to see this thing come down in here, turn around, pull up, pull back, pull up, and there's your higher highs. And now you have an uptrend. This would be your buy point in that example, okay? So put it on a watch list. We'll put Hood on our watch list here, okay? And we'll come back to that next week, okay? But coin is good to now. All right, Frank, let's take a look, Frank, here for you. All right, we're going to do one more. We're going to do Eleanor's, and then that's going to wrap it up today, okay? We're going to try to keep these a little shorter, under, right around the 30-minute mark. All right, so let's see what we got here on this. Long on all, should stops be raised? Okay, good question. All right, so, all right, if you're long term on this and you're in it for the long term, your target is quite high on this. It's like 20 bucks, okay? 20.79. But that means you're going to have to hold it for a while. That's not going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to happen probably in a month. That could take a year to unwind up to those prices. That's the long-term target. You're probably more specific on this. Not a lot of data going back too much on this, but kind of a choppy market at this particular point. Let's see what we've got here. Notice how it spikes up here and here. So we've hit a retracement area here. So it's come up here. Now the question is do we sell off, or does it meander here and then go back up? So I guess probably what I would do here is put my stop on this pyramid here and see how much further it's going up, but it's not something I like, okay? It's not clear unless it's a long-term buy and hold. That's different. All right, BTI. That's one of those, Frank, if I have to scratch my head more than 3 times to figure it out, it's not the trade for me. All right, so so long term, again, like the other one, super huge possibility on this, getting above 48 again, based on the PTF on the long-term chart. We've already had 1, 2, 3 pyramids. So again, I'd probably wait for a pullback. All right, I think it's going to go a little bit higher. All right, but now it's Russian roulette. Is it better to get in here or wait for the pullback and get in here, right? That's the problem, okay? So you kind of, I would not do that one. All right, let's take a look. And if you're long on that, just keep your stop under the closest pyramid on the daily chart at this point, okay? All right, BFH. All right, couple things I would do. Again, I don't know where you got in here. Long term, let's just see a possibility for a long-term retracement here. Yeah, pretty close to the target there. I'd probably trail my stops. I definitely have it at this pyramid. When these turn yellow on both the 60 and the daily, then ratchet those stops up using a 60-minute chart. Okay, keep them close. All right, because I think we're near a short-term top, a moderate top, and you'll have a pretty significant profit-taking correction after that. Okay. All right, Eleanor, last one for today. Let's see, CELH. CELH. Okay, and you're in all. Okay, you're long. All right, so let's see where we're going. All right, big downtrend. I don't know where you got in, but this has been pretty intense here. All right, so basically, this should have stopped here on a normal profit-taking area. It should have stopped there. And then it blew right by here. So that's kind of a warning sign at that point. Long term, all right, you're okay, but now you're in a long-term correction. That's what you have to realize. Because if this was a short-term correction, this probably would have stopped here and gone and made another high. But notice we have a red PTF now on the weekly chart. Let's just open that up for a moment and see how far along we are on this corrective area. And I'm going to say, all right, so basically that to me looks about right. So you got a green PTF, but you're still coming down. So this is a pretty good visual A, B, C. So I'm thinking this pullback could end at any time, okay? So probably since you're not out, I guess I would stay in. You got bullish divergence building on the 60, but I think you are probably going to have a few more lows and probably even get around maybe 46 before this bottoms. Now, if you don't want to hold it that long, then get out. Or if you've been in it for a long time, you're sitting at a profit, you don't want to give that profit back, then that's a decision you're going to have to make. But it looks to me like it's close to a bottom, not quite there yet. But, you can bounce along the bottom for a while. You can have a bottom, but you may not see these highs for years, for a year or so, or two. Okay, so that's what you got to, as long as you don't mind holding it that long for more highs, okay. You might be able to put your money better to work someplace else. All right, ARM, ARM, not much history on that. Green PTF on the weekly chart. Pretty strong owl, so I'm not concerned of a change in trend here. The only thing is that you've been in a correction. Notice how the 60-minute chart looks so much more dramatic than what we're actually seeing on the daily. So that move down on the daily is magnified on the 60-minute. And that's a good thing for a short-term situation because sometimes you can trade those little swings using the 60-minute, but it also gives you a good idea. All right, so we have bearish divergence. This is kind of interesting. We have a 3 here. We have bearish divergence. Oh boy, that's not so good. So I'm thinking this is a 5. So we're probably going down quite a bit more here. So I think I'd have my stop at this pyramid, all right, at this point. Or if you're in it long term, don't worry about it because you should get bailed out eventually after the correction. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Let me just go through this. Yeah, you had a spike here, pull back. I'm thinking that we're probably going in on both the 60 and the daily, a significant change in trend that will be represented by a correction on the longer time frame. And I think the correction could be on this time frame here. It's not a major 4, so we don't want to use a lower point than that. But I'm thinking probably somewhere around where it is now, 149 to 125. All right, so you have to make a determination of how long you want to stay in, okay? And don't forget, these are, estimates. All right, TSM is our next one. Okay, so TSM here. All right, so we got a red PTF on the 60. So the pullback that we're in is not done yet. We don't yet have a red owl on the daily, so it's a little too early to say if we are in a major daily correction. We got definitely a wave 3 in progress, and any pullback here is going to be only some small profit taking based on the weekly chart. So it'll look dramatic on the 60-minute chart and less dramatic on the daily and hardly noticeable for the most part on the weekly. But let's see where this thing is going here. So it's pretty close to, it looks like a fib retracement level. I mean, you're right in the zone here. Red PTF indicates that the pullback is not, so you're going to go lower in that zone. All right. The key is if this turns red, then the correction is going to be a longer term correction than what we're anticipating on the 60. So until this turns red, we anticipate a wave 4 fib retracement based on the lines I drew in. However, if this owl turns red, then that is a major wave 4, and that retracement is going to be deeper. Okay, that's going to be to 151 to 125. So that's kind of where we're at. So let's see if we get a rebound here soon. We're going to have to wait for a yellow PTF. So this needs to come down a little further. But if we do not see that, okay, that's a good sign for a bullish move, okay? But if we don't see that and we just see this and this turns red, then we're coming down here. Hopefully that's clear, okay? So again, I think you have to make your own decision. I don't know where you got in. I do believe after this pullback is finished, wherever it pulls back to, either the short term or the long term, then we're going to see more highs on this. But it's not a slam dunk that this pullback is going to be over soon. Not until we see a rebound off those levels. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Hopefully that helped you. Okay. So you got to make a decision on that. Maybe put a stop under 151. Okay. Or just hang on to it as more of a long-term trade. Wait for the correction to be over with more highs. And I think it probably should be over, I'm going to say in a month or two if it finishes. It could be a week if it's a short-term pullback, a month or two if it's a pullback on the daily chart. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you. All right, so we got coin. All right, that's our winner for today. COIN, coin. All right, we're expecting highs on that around 325 to 408. Good risk to reward. Put your stop at that pyramid, which is a low of 222.22. So we'll tick under that or 222.20. Looks good there. All right. So I'm thinking that's pretty good. And hood. Let's keep an eye on hood. Okay. So HOOD, since we only got 2, let me just put that one back up here. So there you got the hooder. Okay. All right. And hood, we're kind of waiting for a pullback before pulling the trigger. So a little bit of time on that. We're probably going to have to wait a little while on that one, probably a month or two. But let's keep an eye on that. Everybody should put that on a watch list and just watch it every week until we get down to that target zone. And then you can watch it a little more closely. All right. As Gene says, once again, give us a like. You guys have a great weekend. We'll be back next Friday, same time. And thank you so much, all right, for sharing your stocks today. Really great. And I'm just going to put a little music on. I'll show some of the intraday time frames, and then we'll close the room, okay? So again, thank you very much. Have a great week.